Do you remember the first time you got your heart broken? Most of us have been through a breakup or a loss that left us totally devastated. So painful that it literally feels like things will never get better. But after some time to heal, we can see the joy in life again and the light at the end of the tunnel. That wasn't the case for Alan Ianov, who claims that he was driven to total madness after he and his long-term girlfriend parted ways. What Alan did to deal with his heartbreak was not only terrible, but deadly. Let's dive in. To get to the root of this story, we aren't going to look at what kind of person Alan Ianov was before this happened, but rather his main intended victim, Anna Bui. Born in 1997, Anna was raised in Everett, Washington by her parents, who described her as someone who was joyful and caring. She loved to hang out with her friends and wanted to do something with her life that would allow her to give back to people. She went to Kamiak High School and was said to be an excellent student who participated in the school choir. A lot of people remember her for being a beautiful singer. This is where she also met Alan Ianov, and the two started dating. Safe to say she had no idea what she was getting into. Anna and Alan dated for a pretty long time, and he would later say she was the first girl he ever kissed and was ever in love with. They seemed like a totally normal couple. They even went on trips together, like Disneyland. They both graduated from high school in 2015 and enrolled in the University of Washington. Anna was hoping to become a nursing assistant, and Alan was majoring in computer science and engineering. Somewhere down the line, their relationship stopped working for whatever reason. This happens for a lot of young couples. People change as they go from teens to adults, and sometimes things just fizzle out, you know? But here's the part that makes this case even crazier. Alan was the one to end things. Why is that important, you might be asking? Well, after their relationship ended, Alan started acting really strange, while Anna was out there living her best life. You can see from her Instagram that in the few months before she passed away, she was having the best time traveling the world in the summer after finishing her first year at college. It's so sad to see how full of life she was, knowing what happened to her just a short time after she posted her last picture. As we now know, Alan was in a totally different place to Anna. Reportedly, after the breakup, his mental health started to really go downhill, and he started acting impulsively and aggressively. He talked often about being jealous of Anna and any other guys in his life. Things got so bad that he even thought about his life. Now, here's something important to remember that makes me super mad. His parents knew that he was struggling. Apparently, for a long time, he'd struggled with mental illness and even been to a specialist before because he threatened to do something to harm himself. The specialist said that it was super important for Alan to get some help, but he and his mom decided against it. Things got noticeably worse for Alan after the breakup, which is pretty ironic, and even though those close to him knew he was on a downward spiral, no one did anything to help him. That isn't to say I think his mental health justifies what he did, because it definitely does not. However, could it have been prevented if someone took notice and got him the help he clearly needed? Absolutely. The month before the horrifying event that would destroy so many lives, Alan bought a gun, an AR-15 to be exact. An AR-15 is a semi-automatic rifle that can fire a lot of bullets in short bursts and can do a lot of damage in the wrong hands. The scary thing is, despite his mental state and history of mental illness, Alan had no trouble buying the gun and taking it home that same day. His parents both knew about his strange purchase, and all they did was call the store to ask if he could return it, but they never did. Time went by, and as Anna's life was just getting started, Alan had already made plans to destroy it. On July 30th, 2016, a bunch of people from their high school class were going to a house party in Mukilteo, including Anna. In the days leading up to the party, Alan sent some pretty disturbing texts to a friend of his and pretty much told him he planned to turn up to the party with his new weapon, calling himself a future shooter. Reportedly, Alan tried one last thing before going forward with his deadly plan. On July 29th, he tried to get back together with Anna, but she rejected him, which makes sense considering he was the one who ended things. On that same day, she posted her last photo to Instagram, a selfie of her and her friend out kayaking. No idea what was about to happen. On the day of the party, Alan texted the same friend as before and said he was going to go there and shoot everyone. The friend clearly didn't take his threat seriously because instead of calling for help, he told Alan to go and hunt deer instead of thinking about Anna. Alan said no, he'd made the decision. He pulled up to the party that night in his car and apparently just sat there for about 2 hours. In that time, he watched people at the party and literally read the instruction manual for the gun, which goes to show just how unprepared he was for this. He'd even told his friend he planned to get gun safety lessons so he didn't mess up. He sent one last text to his friend saying he was going to start shooting in 2 minutes, but sat in the car for a further 90 minutes. He decided to go forward with his plan after he spotted Anna, who was talking to another guy. He got out of the car, walked up to the house, and opened fire. 3 people lost their lives that night, including Anna. Jacob Long was 19. He stumbled across Alan as he was creeping up to the house and died due to 3 bullet injuries in his back. His next 2 victims were also just outside the house. Will Kramer managed to flee the scene, despite also obtaining a bullet in his back, and hid further away from the house and managed to call the police. Jordan Ebner wasn't so lucky. He also died outside the house and was discovered on a walkway just a few feet from Jacob. Then, Alan went into the house and found Anna sitting at the kitchen table. He didn't even hesitate before firing at her and hitting her straight in the head. Finally, he went up to the balcony outside the main bedroom and fired his weapon at anyone he could see outside before he ran out of ammo and ran. Amazingly, he didn't injure anyone else. Alan got back in his car and sped away from the scene, making it 100 miles before he was caught by the police and arrested 90 minutes after the incident.
God, please forgive me. God, please let me die.
He was arrested on 3 counts of aggravated murder, but that isn't the end of the story. After being found guilty on all counts, Alan decided to give a statement at his sentencing, and what he had to say shocked a lot of people.
However, I'd like everyone to hear loud and clear that it was the ease of acquiring a gun that enabled me to act on my emotions.
In his speech, it seemed like Alan really wasn't interested in taking responsibility for his actions. He blamed it on his mental health, on his uncontrolled emotions, even on the devil. But whatever he admitted to, he also made sure to mention that it wasn't entirely his fault. This angered a lot of people. The families of those that were injured and lost their lives made speeches too, and nobody had anything favorable to say about Alan.
It appears to me that Mr. Ivanov was raised as a spoiled brat, that he was given whatever he wanted whenever he wanted it.
But what was clearer than anything was just how heartbroken the whole community was over the loss of these lives and the impact it would have on them forever.
He loved his friend so much, and then there's a coward with a gun that takes it all away.
Despite requests from some family members for Alan to receive capital punishment, he was sentenced to life behind bars without the possibility of parole. That means he will never leave prison again. Anna's family filed a lawsuit against Alan's parents, claiming there were things they could have done to prevent this from happening. Her family also started a scholarship program to honor Anna's memory, giving other students the opportunity to travel the world just as she had done before she passed away.
I try to think about what she would want for us if she was here today. She wouldn't want us to be sad.
That brings us to the end of today's video. What do you think of this case? Do you think Alan's actions were preventable? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below.